Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this video. If you're joining me from the US, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Well, what am I doing today? I'm outside in my shed trying to get out of the wind as usual, but I'm gonna be outside doing a little bit of final cleanup with my mower, and in a video a couple weeks ago I believe I said this. So things have really slowed down here, probably even a little bit faster than they have in the recent past. Last year I think I was mowing into December or somewhere right around there. This year it doesn't look like I'm going to be doing any mowing in December according to what the temperatures are looking like now. But now the weather has really changed. It's been very, very warm here. Actually, in the last week we've had a couple days that almost hit 70 degrees, which is not typical for this time of year. And then of course this week it's also looking like it's going to be in the 50s mainly, which is still above average. We haven't really had much precipitation, which I also want to talk about, but first let's talk about what I'm doing here with this final cleanup. My yard was pretty much clean after I had all of my leaves fall down because I don't have very big trees, but my neighbor has a pretty decent sized willow tree, and a lot of that has come into my yard, so I want to do a final clean here. The grass really hasn't grown much, even though it's been a little bit warmer since we had that really cold spell earlier in the fall. Kind of shut things down at that point, and the grass has just been kind of confused now as to what to do, but not much growth there. I'm going to be going through just these little bit of leaves and stuff to clean it up, and hopefully things will look a little bit better. Alright guys, the mowing portion is done. The Timemaster does a great job, as you can see there. Hopefully you can see it in the video. Obviously I don't have a ton of build up there, but what I do have, it mulches through those no problem. The other thing I wanted to mention there as I was mowing is I was mowing that at 2.5 inches, so I brought the backyard down to 2.5. Beyond the fence there on that hill, I usually leave it at about 2.75. There's just a little bit of unevenness, and I tend to scalp if I go any lower than that, so that's the part that I leave there. And then I mentioned that the grass might be confused by these temperatures, but I also saw as I was mowing and cleaning out around my flower beds here that there's definitely some plants that are a little bit confused, as these things are popping up some new growth. They were pretty much done for the season. Now I think they believe it's spring, which next week they're going to be in for it again when it gets back to around the 30s. But there's nothing we can do about the weather, and it just has to hopefully make up its mind here at some point. Let's take a quick stroll to the front yard, show you what's been going on there. So I ended up mowing this down to 2 inches or right around there with the Honda, and I did this because we were going to have some traffic on our yard with some people working around the house. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't too shaggy and that it wouldn't get too matted down. And actually it looks really nice cut low. It actually looks more like turf to me, like a thick, nice sports field. Now some of the browning that's in there is caused from the fescue being cut low, and that doesn't like it too much because it's normally cut at a little bit higher. So that's some of that browning. There's a little bit of browning just from the natural dormancy that we're about to go into because there's a lot of lack of sunlight now, and so that's going to add a little bit to the brown color as well. And then cutting it a little bit lower is just going to bring out some of that brown that was kind of down in the root zone there. So let's talk about one other thing that's concerning me a little bit here, and that is the lack of moisture that we've had the last couple months. In the past couple months, I think we've had right around 1/4 inch of rain, somewhere right around there. I know that it's been one of the driest fall seasons that we've had in quite a while, so because of that, I'm getting a little bit concerned that things are getting a little bit drier than I would like them to be. Since I don't have an in-ground irrigation system, I can kind of remedy that if I feel like it. Most people in this area have had all of their irrigation systems shut down for the season because we've had some freezing temperatures and you don't want that water to be in there and freeze. So I don't have that issue, but I think what I'm going to do here is wait for a day that's hopefully not as windy as it is, and I'm going to try to go out and just irrigate a little bit with just a hose and a sprinkler. Now I'm not going to go too heavy because it's not 90 degrees outside and we're not losing a lot of moisture every day because of that. But I'll show you a couple of these cracks in the ground. These are just various places around the yard here, and so those are a little bit more extreme because they don't have any grass covering them. However, if you walk through my lawn right now, you can definitely tell it's hard as a rock, and we have not had any moisture for a while. So hopefully if I can get just a little bit of irrigation down, we can get things into the winter season, and hopefully we'll get some snow cover that will eventually melt on there and get us some other moisture as well. So that is what's going on in the yard. I'll be working on a couple things inside the house coming up, and hopefully I will be doing some video work on a couple projects that I'm doing in there as well. I hope you'll check those videos out if you're interested in something like that. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.